I'm now going to Taco Bell to order a Crunchwrap Supreme!
But you're currently on a diet, sir.
Hurrah! I'm bulking!
Owie!
Hurrah! The Crunchwrap Supreme only has 530 calories!
But it's high in sodium!
Hurrah!
What? Why are you holding my hand?
Shut up! Throw!
Owie!
Halo 5 Guardians, the game that single-handedly ended the Halo franchise.
Climate change. When is Hannibal Buress going to start thinking about some underwear change? Am I right, ladies?
Now, before I go into talking about why Halo 5 is so bad and what went wrong with it, I should preface that I'm going to be giving this game the same amount of respect that 343 did to the entire franchise. So, if you love Halo 5 and don't want to hear me trash it, I completely understand. Feel free to click off. But, with that being said, let's take a look at Halo 5 Guardians 10 years later. Or something like that. I'm still workshopping the title of this video, really, so who knows what it'll end up being.
The marketing.
March 22nd, 2015 was the beginning of the official Hunt the Truth campaign that helped market and announce Halo 5 Guardians. This campaign brought a lot of attention to the upcoming release for the new Halo game. The reason it gathered so much attention, though, is because the main character of the franchise, Master Chief, was actively being hunted by a Spartan named Locke. This idea really captivated the attention of the unemployed from around the world, seeing as how Master Chief was now alone since, spoiler alert, Cortana dies in Halo 4, but, whoops-a-daisy, now she's back, and now she's evil, and then she dies again, and my goodness, Halo's story is absolutely screwed.
The plot.
Listen, I've been a fan of Halo since the first video game I ever played was Halo Combat Evolved, and my favorite game of all time is Halo 3, and no, it's not because I'm nostalgic for it. Shut up! But I'm going to be fully transparent here. I've only played Halo 5 2 times in my life. The first time was when it released, and the second time was literally like 2 days ago. So I'm not going to act like I have an attachment to Halo 5 Guardians, or that I know the story, because let's be honest here, 343 doesn't know the story of Halo 5. So, par for the course. But I'm going to be loosely summarizing the important parts of Halo 5's story, and then we're going to talk about everything that's wrong with it. Which will be a lot, but it's fine! We are introduced to Spartan Locke and his squadron of Spartans called Osiris, consisting of Tonica, Vale, and Buck. But none of which will matter, so forget I said anything about them. Locke and his crew save Dr. Halsey from a guy named Jul Amdallah, and we'll actually end up talking about him later, but they end up killing him. Meanwhile, Chief and his crew known as Blue Team, consisting of Fred, Linda, and Kelly, all arrive on some ship. But forget I said anything about Blue Team though, because they have about the same amount of character and personality in this game as a piece of drywall. Something happens, and then Chief sees a vision of Cortana and believes that she's still alive after the events of Halo 4. Amazing! Halsey then talks about how Cortana has somehow gained access to the domain which can essentially destroy the galaxy, and Halsey believes that Cortana might be using Chief to move her mission forward. So Halsey sends out Osiris to bring Blue Team back. Are we following so far, class?
Well, not exactly.
Amazing! Let's keep going! There's also this random guy named Warden Eternal who's kind of working for Cortana, but not really. But don't ask for any context as to who he is. 343 doesn't even know. But anyways, Osiris is put on St. Helios to find and protect the Arbiter, because why not? We obviously need more plot threads. Some stuff happens, Blue Team and Osiris end up teaming up now. For some reason, the Covenant are back as well, but not really. Also, Cortana is now bringing about the end of the galaxy, and the Warden kind of betrays her for some reason, but not really. Then Cortana wins in a way, and everyone's chill for some reason. Oh yeah, and Palmer's here. I hope Palmer died!
What is this?
This is going to be a very incoherent rant, and I apologize in advance. I mean, not really, but if you don't want to hear it, then go to this timestamp that I will probably put on screen, but maybe not. Alright, up first. Why is Cortana alive? Isn't she supposed to be dead? Like, yeah, they talk about the reasoning of why she is alive, and that's cool and all, but I don't mean why logically in the story she is. I mean, just why? Halo 4 had such a great conclusion to her character, probably one of the only good things 343 has ever done, but yet they fumbled so hard in Halo 5. Why did they bring her back? Who honestly knows? My guess is that they assumed that the Virgins would want Cortana back, but even they were upset at this decision. And as a company, a gaming company, you do not want to make the Virgins upset. Secondly, why are there so many characters? Holy! I get it. A new installment of a franchise releases, so you need to incorporate some characters, whether new or old. Cool, I get that. But did you really need 9 Spartans, 3 AI, multiple people who only have like 5 seconds of screen time, 2 other new villains, 2 legacy characters, and like a billion side characters who are vaguely mentioned in passing, and who all have their own side quests but aren't important enough to impact the main story in even the slightest? Yes? Wrong! Listen, I'm not saying that they can't incorporate multiple characters, but they should only incorporate characters that really add something. Like, why is Palmer here? The fans lashed out at 343 about her inclusion in Halo 4. They took that information and threw her into Halo 5 anyways. Or, here's an example of a character that should have added value but they butchered. Jul Amdala. That's right, we're bringing this guy back. In the books, he was built up to be this big bad commander, almost leader of the New Age Covenant. He had a huge build-up for a while leading up to this game, and we were about to see his conclusion, and so you can imagine that fans would be a little disappointed when they realize he dies in the first 10 minutes of the game. The first 10! It's alright. It's alright. We ball. Halo 5, by all accounts, messed up horribly. They did have some newer generation characters that were pretty cool though, like Lasky and Roland. These 2 new generation characters genuinely seemed pretty awesome, but they decided to give Lasky barely any screen time in this game, and they never expanded upon Roland. And as cool as he is, he just kind of came out of the middle of nowhere.
The books.
The only way that you would know what on earth is happening here is if you read the books leading up to this game. When Bungie worked on Halo, they did make books and comics, but they weren't solely weaved into the game. They were optional to read and weren't required homework to understand what is happening in the story. But 343 saw this and said, yeah, that's cool. What if we had it to where the only way you could understand the games was if you read 20 books? Oh my god! Essentially, you were out of luck if you weren't a reader of the Halo franchise. Every previous game you could understand without reading the books. They were aligned perfectly and had a strong yet simplistic story. Were they perfect? No, but they were better than this imposter of a game. The books always expanded the stories that this universe could tell, but for some reason, the books for Halo 5 felt like they were almost enclosing the universe and making it seem less expansive, less unique, and took away some of that charm. It genuinely hurt to see as someone who plays these games and reads the books.
The gameplay.
Here's where I start to go into the territory where either everyone will agree with me or will try to send a cool looking gadget to my house. It is a big point of contention in the Halo community to talk about Guardians' gameplay, because if you were a newer gen Halo fan, then you liked the gameplay of 5. But if you were a Bungie fan, then you most likely hated the gameplay. So I'm going to choose my words very carefully, because I'd rather not die today. Just kidding, I'm not going to be careful at all with how I put this, because screw this game! The guns in this game, for the most part, are fine. They work, whatever. But my big problem is the revive system, because tell me why. The AI for these guys is dumber than the AI for Halo Combat Evolved, which, mind you, is 24 years ago now. Also, these level designs are super bland and linear, and when they aren't linear, they don't have anything interesting to really find in the environment. The multiplayer is extremely forgettable in my opinion, and just doesn't live up to the standard that is the Bungie games and their multiplayer. Even Halo 4's multiplayer, I would say, is better than this, and it's Halo 4! I will say, however, I don't hate everything about the gameplay in this game. They tweaked the Prometheans a bit, which made them a lot more tolerable to fight, mainly adjusting the Knights, and the Covenant at times can be fun to fight. But that doesn't change that 90% of the time, their AI is atrocious to an insane degree. Also, I like how assassinations are in this game. I loved those in Reach, and and doing these is the only time I feel like I'm ever doing anything remotely cool in this game. And this is Halo, for goodness sake. Everything is supposed to be awesome. The aesthetic. Why on earth, everywhere I look, is there so much plastic in this game? Not actual plastic, but everything just looks so fake? Listen, I'm aware that seeing a giant 7-foot-tall man that weighs 1,000 pounds with green armor and the only word in his vocabulary being sir may not be the most realistic thing on the planet, but like, he seemed less fake then, and it's not just him. Everything's way more plasticky in this game. The Covenant look really action figure-y. The other Spartans' armor looks like it was 3D printed, and some of the environments look like Lego builds that were made by your 5-year-old cousin. It's just assaulting my senses. Also, what's this? What is this? This is not an elite. This is not a grunt. I know this topic has been done to death, the fact that the art style is so screwed, but what on earth is this? And it's even worse when you realize that the Arbiter still kept his original style and build under the armor. So if he's like this, then why are the elites like this? Also, sound design and design for the guns. I'm just going to say it. Almost all of it is bad. The only exception, in my opinion, being the Saw and the Promethean guns. Other than that, it's all awful. But once again, there is semblance here of what could have been an actual good game. Like, the graphics in this game are absolutely insane. You're telling me that this thing released in 2015? You're a witch. What witchcraft are you using? Get out! The motion capture is so incredibly impressive here. Genuinely, there was a lot of care put into these graphics and mocap suits. It's absolutely insane, and just really cool. Also, the skyboxes in this game are absolutely dope. Just because I don't like the art style, that doesn't mean that I don't think this game can look beautiful at times, because it definitely does. It's just such a shame that these amazing graphics went towards a game like this. Also, I honestly didn't know where to put these in the video, so I'm just gonna throw some dialogue from the game into here that I thought was honestly just so amazing.
I tried to warn you this was happening. Cortana is no longer an asset, Captain. She is a danger. She has access to the Forerunner domain, a galaxy-spanning network
Cortana's
that
alive?
allows her to control whatever devices caused this damage.
How is she? Master Chief believes she contacted him.
No, John must not speak to her.
He's gone in search of her.
Let him go.
How is
Nobody lets the chief do anything. He does what he wants.
Until 0631 this morning, when he was declared absent without leave.
This isn't about the Master
John
Chief.
is not equipped emotionally to deal with her as a threat.
Hey! Is anyone gonna answer me?
You're out of line, Roland.
Yes, sir, but so is everyone else. You created Cortana, Doc, and now you're throwing her out the airlock with these accusations.
Roland.
You think she tricked the Master Chief into abandoning his post? Respectfully, sir, to what end? Why is Cortana the problem? Because she refused to die when she was supposed to?
You're okay with this? Not just another target, you know.
Every target is just another target, Buck.
Yeah. For you, maybe. Man, I love being an ODST. Just point and shoot. None of this gray area BS.
Spartan Jameson Locke, UNSC. Captain Lasky sends his greetings and thanks you for your cooperation.
Oni, out of the shadows. The spies announce themselves now, Agent Locke.
I'm a Spartan now, sir.
I know who you are. You were an agent when you volunteered to execute me.
I saved your life today.
Yet now you hunt another Spartan, the greatest of your clan.
It took you long enough.
Halo Reach was the end of the Bungie era, and people act like it was all 343's fault that the franchise has fallen from grace after the fact. But as a community, we must realize that it's not as black and white as it may seem. It wasn't solely 343's fault for the franchise's decline, and Bungie wasn't perfect. We must remember Reach, but we also must remember that 343 didn't introduce the slower gameplay, the abilities and sprinting. That was all Bungie in Halo Reach. Not to say that those features are bad, but we shouldn't pin the blame on 343 alone and say that Bungie was perfect and that they could do no wrong. It's easier now to say that Bungie was perfect because the state of the franchise now is inherently worse. Is 343 to blame for this? Partially, but it wasn't their fault alone. As a community, we must accept that, yeah, 343 messed up. Big time. But Bungie wasn't perfect either. As much as I joke about 343 being the worst thing to ever happen to Halo, I can see that these people do care about Halo, but they just don't have that same understanding of it that Bungie did. If you like Halo 5 Guardians, you are entitled to that. I personally think it's one of the worst games of all time, but that's simply because my attachment to this franchise is so great and I can't look beyond those glory days I had when I was younger, and I'm sure that's the same for a lot of us. The biggest thing that Halo 5 is lacking anymore, or just Halo in general actually, is community. And while we can't change what features they add to the game that might aid or worsen the community, what we can do is come together as a community through our love of this franchise. Some of us may think that Halo Combat Evolved is the best game. Some of us may think that Halo 3 ODST is the best game. Some of us may think that Halo 5 is the best game. Whichever Halo game you think is the best, it ultimately doesn't matter. Because if there is no future for this community, then there is no future for this franchise. Thank you all so much for watching. Please consider joining the Discord server. Link is in the description. And before I go, I'd like to read a quick Bible verse. Matthew 9, verses 37 to 38. Then he said to his disciples, "The harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Therefore pray earnestly to the Lord of the harvest to send out laborers into his harvest." Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, have a blessed night.